First of all, I want to thank everyone at SACI, the member of the staff and the faculty, especially the ones I work with them during this year. And I think that at SACI there is a group of professional and generous people. And with them, it's really easy to work in team. And this is a very important resource for the master, where students have the opportunity to open their research to different disciplines and to undertake serious multidisciplinary approach. And with some of you, you really do it. For all these things, I want to thank also the leadership of the school for the maintaining and the improving of the school structure as created by Jules Madoff and Mary Beckinsale. And a special thanks to Mary Beckinsale that really you have rescued us this evening, that you have accepted to give a keynote speech with less than 20 hours of advice. I want to thank also Paolo D'Agostino to give us the opportunity to be here in the Casa Martelli. I really hope that in the next year we can go on collaborating with this wonderful place. So here you are, after 11 months. Alexandra, Julie, Rosa, and Vanessa. I go through you in alphabetic order. And let me tell you that I'm really proud of you. And I'm happy to see that during this year you have learned how to conduct a research, how to browse within an archive, how to study ancient documents. That is not easy at all, and primary sources. But you learn also to be confident in your own curiosity and passion. You learn how to use your eyes. That is really the first instrument of an art historian. And to observe a painting. You learn how to pose questions, to direct your research, how to use the information you found in documents and literature to support your thesis and formulate it through the evidence of what you discovered, your thesis, without creating any mystification. Always maintain the right neutral point of view. You also learn the boring of reading the documents at the beginning, that very often are unuseful, that appeared unuseful at first. And you learn also the excitement when you discover and understood that first boring, unuseful document turned out to be so fundamental to rewrite the history of art. And so you discover the excitement of the discovery, although minimal discoveries. And sometimes we are talking about a change of 1 year in the attribution of a painting, something that but we know that if you are so excited, it means that you are an art historian. Only art historians are excited such minimal little things that for the rest of the audience will say, that's it. But so I want to go through a little bit your thesis. Alexandra, you chose a very difficult subject, the very complex and very much studied painting, like the Adoration of the Magi by Leonardo da Vinci. And a painting that was in display at Uffizi only in this spring, back after being restored for many years. I think that with your thesis you have learned that the best way to study an artwork is to remain as much as possible close to the object of your research, without thinking about how great is the artist, the master, and the idea of the masterpiece. Looking deep also, with the help maybe of diagnostic research, into the material of the painting. You learn, as you underline in your thesis appendix, that the so-called scientific diagnostical studies can be influenced by the bias of common opinion, given that very often are given for granted. Your thesis opened up new point of view, new proposals about Leonardo da Vinci unfinished maybe technique that was interesting. And you, plus I think that is very interesting, your hypothesis that the features of the Virgin in the Adoration of the Magi are very similar to the features of the portrait of Ginevra de' Benci, something that nobody up to now had paid attention. And Julie, in the opposite way, you choose totally a different kind of things, an almost unknown Baroque painter of genre. So from the master to the anonymous one almost. But with your observation, your good eyes, you recognize the great quality of his style. Jacques Courtois, called the Borgognone, a painter of battle scene, almost forgot by recent art historians. And your thesis has the merit to go back to Baldinucci, the first source, and the only one up to now who wrote about him. You have well proved what Baldinucci said through stylistic evidence and also with the support of the documents. You discovered very important things about Courtois patronships through the study of also unpublished documents. So you go to the archive and you were able, with the help of Alice Parri, to find out important things. You focus on the paintings that Courtois created for Mattias de' Medici, and you firstly understand that we are talking about a soldier painter working for a soldier patron. That was a kind of very peculiar thing. And maybe because both of them with interest in optical and topographical instruments. We know that Mattia has a very important collection. And because you were struck by the topographical evidences in the landscapes of the painting, your research went into different directions to discover if there were any maps that could help Courtois to create the landscape, but also you go on to study, especially for the battle in Tuscany, with the use of the 3D rendering based on NASA satellites maps, the process to determine what kind of optical tools Courtois used. And this is really the evidence of the multidisciplinary research that at SACI can be done, because we are a school with different colleges and different ability and technical knowledge, and all these things are really important to increase a new wave to study history of art. Rosa. Hi, Rosa. You are a very generous student, and also your research has been very generous. I think that with all the thesis that you wrote, that was very long, but you still have material ready that you study and not use in your thesis, that you can use to write another thesis maybe, or other 3-4 articles. That was Women of Wonders is the title of your thesis, and is the beginning of the title of your thesis. And I think that you can be listed among them, Women of Wonder. You did a great excursus in the practice of self-portrait by women artists, of course, the Women of Wonders, between the end of the Renaissance and the beginning of the Baroque. Sofonisba Anguissola, Lavinia Fontana, Artemisia Gentileschi. And you set an interesting hypothesis about identification of a portrait by Anguissola. You underline how Anguissola is maybe the first, or maybe the very first artist who produced huge and incredible numbers of portraits. And so you started to work to a catalogue raisonné of Anguissola. And I really think that this could be the subject of a future thesis, maybe a PhD thesis that was. And to talk about your thesis is very difficult because it was really long and different sections. So all the sections have important things, Fontana, Gentileschi. I just want to say that for Artemisia Gentileschi, you pointed out, for example, how, and you study in a different way the documents of the very famous trial of Artemisia, and you put in connection the documents of the trial with the production of the workshop of Orazio Gentileschi at that time. And that led you, I just was longer, but led Rosa to identify the figures of the young Suzanne, the painted Suzanne and the elders, with the self-portrait as a nude young woman of Artemisia herself. That is a very bold statement that you support with good analysis and documents. And I think that boldness is also one of the characteristics of an art historian. You should be bold and to be able to go on with your idea. Last but not least at all, Vanessa, your thesis focused on a painting, Il Fienaiolo, by the haymaker, by Plinio Nomellini. And this year, this painter has been deeply studied. An exhibition about the painting, a symposium dedicated all to this painting in December. And I have to confess you that I was a little bit in trouble with the thesis. I was thinking about what she could add of new about this painting, that for all the year, all the art historians are studying this painting. Well, it turned out that you discovered, through an accurate study of the primary sources, catalog of the exhibition, a lot of things. You discovered that Plinio Nomellini displayed together with that painting also an unknown portrait of the American anarchist Nina Van Zandt. And when we try to reach Italian historians and art historians, nobody knows about this figure. And nobody knows how it could be possible that Nomellini in 1888 was in contact with Nina Van Zandt. These are those discoveries, little discoveries that make us so happy, because with that we changed the date of Nomellini engagement in the anarchist movement 2 years earlier. That for us it's a long, important period. With a special access to the Nomellini's archive, with the generous help of the granddaughter, Eleonora Barbara Nomellini, you were also able to find a study of the painting, never published up to now. Art historians never seen, since it's in a private collection from the 1951. And so, due to all these discoveries and the interesting hypothesis derived from them, part of your thesis will be published in the proceedings of the above-mentioned symposium. So that is really something. And this is really the proof that it's never a waste of time for an art historian to study again a work of art, to verify always what have been said about an artwork, and all of you have directly tested how it is important to verify, whenever there is a possibility, the original documents, how the original document can be misinterpreted and misunderstood. So let's say that, to conclude rapidly, the archive are the fundamental source of the historian in general. And the cross-analysis of the documents, it's the way to create the new narrative we need to better understand our history, our culture, and ourselves. The history of art is not only for the art historians. It's really part of our patrimony, and to better understand ourselves. And so let me tell you that I really want to thank you, because you made this long academic year so challenging for me too. Thank you.